Catching up with Jonathan Lucroy, brought to you by Quick Trip.
One thing that probably doesn't get noticed too much is it seems like your pitchers are going an inning more here, an inning and a couple thirds more as this year, the last few weeks here. Is that a matter of comfort, or is that a matter of they're sticking with them a little bit, or what do you see, and what does it do for this team?
Well, I think it makes it easy on your team whenever your starter goes out and gives you a chance to win every night. And we have had guys had some rough starts, but here lately they seem to be pitching a lot better, and kind of settling in and getting a little more comfortable and making pitches and just getting ahead in the count really is what it's about. Throwing strikes, getting ahead, walking guys, pitch count going up real quick. That's when the problems start to arise. So, here lately, the guys that I've caught, they've done a better job at getting ahead and working. Junior Guerra has been awesome, catching him coming up from AAA. I think he's made 3 starts now, been really doing well. Zach Davies, his last 2 starts, he's given us a chance to win and kept the other team down, and that's what is important. And those guys, and hopefully we can get that with Chase tonight too.
And the fact that they're all totally different kinds of pitchers. You've got some power pitcher, you got Zach who will fool everybody. It's just the different styles of pitching. Yep. Does that maybe break it up a little for you, and how much does it help a team when they can't have a game plan for the Brewers pitching staff?
Well, not every guy's the same. I think Zach and Chase are pretty similar guys. Junior's a different guy from everybody, and then Willie and Jimmy are similar, and in probably the aspect that they have a hard sinker, but that's that's pretty. There's not much there other than that, and guys are really like I said. Other teams know that our guys are different, so they can't really depend on facing one type of guy a whole series.
Talk about Junior a little bit. That he came up, he was kind of that first feel of all the newness. It feels like for this year when he came up and he's doing what he's doing. Does that energize things a little bit when he's like a symbol of it a little bit? And he's a really good pitcher.
Oh yeah, it does. He's done a really good job. He's pretty experienced. I think he's been, not in the big leagues, but, in life experience, he's had a lot of that. So he's pretty comfortable out there, and it's nice to, like I said, it's been really cool to catch him. He competes, he throws strikes, he doesn't walk a lot of guys, and it's nice to have that as a catcher.
When we talked about guys going a little farther, what's kind of when they come out to talk to see if a guy maybe has a couple more hitters in him, what's your role? What do you do? Can you say, get him out of here, or do you have to be subtle, or what do you do as the catcher? It's coming at you.
If the manager asks me, the pitch coach asks me about him, I'll answer honestly, but I try to stay out of that. It's not my role to do that. I don't like to decide. I'm not going to go give them my 2 cents whenever they don't need that unless they ask for it. So, but I know when a guy's going good and when he's feeling good and whenever he's doing well enough. I think for me wanting them to stay in there to compete for an extra batter or 2. So, I only do it I only give my opinion whenever they ask for it.
Lately, it seems like there's parts of your game that are weapons now, like throwing guys out. Obviously, you were very solid at it before, but you made a couple great throws. You've hit a couple bombs now. Are you seeing that maybe you've added things? I mean, obviously, we know you're good at some of these things, but it seems like you've stepped up a little bit more.
Well, it's just about getting better every year and trying to get better every game, really. I mean, it's just trying to make adjustments and do what you got to do to be consistent and hit the ball hard somewhere. And that's all I'm trying to do is just get better. And I work at it. I work very hard at it. And I want to get better, and I want to compete to the best of my ability so I can contribute and help win. I mean, that's the bottom line. So for me, guys get on me, but, nothing's ever good enough for me. I always try to top myself and get better every year and get better every game and just go day by day. And like I said, I know it's cliche, I keep saying it, but just try to improve.
Being able to throw a guy out, you poo-pooed your Billy Hamilton throw even, but talk about that a little bit. Balancing that, because being able to throw a guy out, I think, would probably be, to me, as exciting as hitting one out of here like you did the other night. I mean,
it is. Throwing a guy out is very fun, especially to end a game or end the inning or something like a strike him out, throw him out, double play, something like that. Those are always really fun, because it helps your pitcher out. It helps a lot of things out. It helps momentum turn towards your way. I mean, there's a lot of different ways it helps. And definitely a big part of my game that I like to do, and any catcher likes to do, is throw guys out.
There's no such thing as the inside baseball thing, because as soon as somebody mentions it, 1,000 other people mention it, but the framing of pitches. Steve actually had a really good question. Is there a difference in framing a pitch for Jimmy as there is for Junior? How do you do it?
A lot of people don't understand that it depends on being able to catch a ball cleanly and being able to give the umpire a really good look at a pitch. Presenting the ball to the umpire is very important, and a lot of it really depends on the pitcher himself. Can he throw the ball, near where can you throw the ball in a spot where you can make it look good? If you're set up outside and he throws it inside, you can't make that look good.
Yeah.
If you're set up inside and he throws it outside, you can't make that. It's hard.
Yeah.
So you have to have pitchers that can do it. I think the best years that I've had receiving wise, I had guys like Greinke, Sean Markham, Giovanni Gallardo, guys that were, pretty accurate with their pitching, with their pitches. And the best receivers in the game, they have the best. You look at a guy like Buster, who has some of the best numbers on that lately. Well, he also has Madison Bumgarner. He's catching these guys that are very, very good at throwing the ball where they want to throw it. And that's for me, that is one of the biggest things, is you having a pitching staff that's able to do that. And as a catcher, being able to harness what the pitcher does and being able to use that.
Do you get a thank you when you do it right? When a guy maybe your pitcher doesn't notice that you did it, but Jonathan, thanks for doing that, man.
Not really. No, it's just kind of part of my job. I don't thank the pitcher for throwing a nasty slider in the dirt a guy strikes out on, but I guess it just kind of comes with the territory. It's part of my job and part of my role.
Okay, last time we were out here, it was freezing, and we talked a little bit about the roof being open, and now suddenly there's an online, they need to keep this roof open more often kind of thing. We're Wisconsinites.
Yeah.
I have a feeling you might not agree with that.
Yeah, they're Wisconsinites, but I'm from Florida, man. And playing with numb hands and cold hands when a guy's throwing 95 isn't fun. It makes it harder. It's a lot harder to play whenever it's cold. And anytime you can play with no wind and the temperature somewhat controlled is most ideal for competitive baseball. Playing, it's hard to play whenever it's windy and cold, and your hands are cold, and more likelihood of injuries. There's a lot of negatives about it.
Plus, guys get hurt more often this way. That seems to be lost on a lot of people.
You can't be warm. You can't be loose. I mean, it's just it's not rocket science to understand that. So it's easy to sit in the stands and watch the game wrapped up in a blanket. When you're out there, it's cold. Yeah. Especially playing in a place like Wrigley or something, man. We're very lucky here to be able to have a roof.
Have you invented a mask with earmuffs or anything for yourself?
Yeah, we have I just wear I call it the robber mask. You've seen those before where they're like the full face mask thing. Yeah. And anytime we play in Wrigley early in the season, that's what we got to wear. And it gets pretty cold, man. It's tough to compete whenever you can't feel a baseball in your hand. It's hard, and you gotta grind it out and deal with it. But a lot of fans don't understand that.
Let me ask about the Cubs here, because again, obviously they're pretty decent this year. How much is it, as you approach it, how much respect going in? Like Garrett Cole the other day said what he said about them, but I don't think he was saying they were a bad team or anything, but he also had to approach it. I've got to get these guys out. When you go into a series against the best team in baseball, how much respect do you give them, and how much do you say they're regular baseball players?
They're regular baseball players. Yeah. I mean, we've been in their position before. In 2011, I've been there. In 2014, we were there in that position where we were kind of running away with the division. Everybody's the same, and that's just the best team never wins the World Series. It's always the hottest team. It's always the hottest team, and the team at that moment that's doing the best. And for me, I treat these guys like I treat anybody else. It doesn't matter who it is. I'm going to do the best of my ability to get these guys out and use our strengths against their weaknesses as best I can, calling a game wise, to be able to get them out. And that's just a simple fact. It's nothing. I don't care who's coming in town, and I treat them all the same.
And finally, as you look at the league as a whole, you look at the stats and all that, there's guys at the top batting average nobody would have imagined. I mean, Martin Prado has been a very good player for a long time, but I don't think anybody was expecting him to be hitting that 390 range here. I mean, do you keep an eye on that and be blown away by who you see leading things, or you seem like you're a day-to-day guy, but...
I'm a day-to-day guy. I mean, things can change so quick. within a baseball season. You know, it's so hard to be consistent like that all year, and you know, it's very difficult. And but you know, he's a great player, and you see these guys are doing well now, and sometimes those guys end up hitting a slump and kind of falling. Sometimes they don't. I mean, it depends on a lot. There's so many things that go into it, and you know, baseball's a funny game like that. Yeah. It really is. It's a funny game, and if you're off just a little bit, it'll mess you up until you can get back to where you need to be mechanically. I mean, there's just so many little things that can happen.
Does it make it more fun when it doesn't make sense sometimes that get out of here? I mean,
baseball's a crazy game. I mean, it was funny, you know, thinking about you know, that no-hitter that was thrown, almost no-hitter that was thrown against us, and I broke it up with a little flare. Yeah. I mean, that's just the way the game works sometimes. I got lucky. I just kind of went like that, and it dropped. But that's just, you know, Carlos Gomez had a breakup of Max Scherzer's game here last year. He was dominating us, and he did the same thing. It's a little flare that dropped in. You know, that crazy stuff like that happens, and that's just a part of the game, and that's what makes this game so great. Is things like that can happen, and you know, little stuff like that can happen, and vice versa. You know, a guy throws a perfect game, he might have 3 lineouts that game. You know, guy might hit 3 rockets at the shortstop, but no one says that because they're outs. No one sees that. So it's you know, this game is a funny game.
Yeah, I just remember the other day I was watching a game, and it was a line drive, hardest hit ball you ever saw, hit the pitcher in the butt. They got thrown out at first. It was the Dodger. Yeah, it was the Dodger game. The Cardinals and Dodgers, and the next pitch was a bleeder up the middle, and it's a base hit, and you know that guy probably was in a little bit of a slump, and that's how it works out.
Yeah, I mean, the other day against the the other day against the Padres, you know, we had runners on second and third, I believe, or first and second or something, and Matt Kemp gets up and hits a rocket to center in like the 8th inning, and or 7th or 8th inning off Blazek, and it was a line drive right at center fielder. If it was 15 feet either way, it's a double, and they're ahead by 1 run. Yeah. You know, they're up, and it's just crazy way the game works, and you know, it's just it's a funny game, but that's the way it goes sometimes.
You like baseball? I kind of get that feeling.
Well, I mean, it's the only thing I know how to do good, so I kind of gotta like it, I guess.
Catch more at my24milwaukee.com.